Hello, I am Burton C. Bell, and you are watching SOBRE la DOSIS with Jonathan Montenegro.
Here, hello.
Polinsky, yes.
Dean Hoagland.
From Remy.
And Oliveira.
Christine.
Mark from Max Cavalera. Del from
Will Raymond.
Sobre la dosis.
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 Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro.
With Jonathan Montenegro. Let's go!
Better be listening because I know where you live.
The idea was never an idea. It wasn't a forethought. It was never anything calculated. It was serendipitous. It was something I tried and it sparked a reaction. Obviously, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, and I'm inspired by a lot of music by then because Fear Factory started in 1990. So at that point, you know, there was grindcore, there was some death metal, there was hardcore. It was still all like early stages. But I was drawing from artists and vocalists that I was inspired by and was influenced by from a whole array of musical styles, from goth to New York noise to industrial to metal or grindcore. I liked heavy music, but I also liked very goth and melodic music. So rehearsing and writing songs with Fear Factory, it was a blank palette at that point. There was nothing we had any idea what we were doing. We were just throwing things out there. Soul of the Machine is the primordial embryo of Fear Factory. It is ideas coming together, and it's artists, new musicians learning their craft, coming together, learning their craft together, writing songs together. It was a magical time, young and just full of life. It was, and all we wanted to do was just to make music. And for me, at least, I just wanted to create. And so the idea wasn't something that was manufactured. It was literally kismet. It was naturally and organically born through the process of creation. And the first song was Big God that I used it on. And obviously I'm a big fan of all sorts of music from, obviously Godflesh is a huge influence. Even back then, it was probably my top favorite band. Swans, U2, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, New Model Army, Love and Rockets, Fields of Nephilim, Sisters of Mercy, and The Mission UK. The list goes on, but you can hear the difference. So when I started doing my vocals, I wasn't trying to copy someone. I was just trying to emulate how I wanted to sing with the knowledge of the artists that I had in my cache of my whole musical taste, my whole musical collection. I can name vocalists that were similarly doing the same thing. Not similarly, but close to it. Mike Patton, Jazz Coleman, even Justin Broderick. They had their own style. I just took, even Chris Cornell. They had things that I really loved, and I just tried to make it all happen together. And Big God, we were just going through it, and that was like our Godflesh song. And I just did what Justin was gonna do, and Justin has this like Gregorian chant, and I just tried it, but I had more of a melody to it, and that was something that threw everybody off. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? It was like I was using my voice as like a keyboard, as another instrument, which is something that a lot of vocalists do, like Mike Patton. And so I was trying something different, and as we were playing, I did it, and it sounded fucking awesome. Dino's like, stop, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh, I don't know, I was just trying something. He was like, oh, if you didn't like it, I'll do it. He says, no, keep doing it. I'm like, all right. And that's where it was. And, you know, perfect title for a creation, Big God. So it wasn't like death metal that started. And for me, the clean vocals and the death metal growls. Yes, I never really considered myself a singer to begin with. I consider myself a vocalist, and I try to use my voice as an instrument more so than like, you know, I don't compare myself to like real singers like Bowie or Chris Cornell. That guy's a fucking singer. But I'm a vocalist, and what I do, I'm not screaming. I dislike the term screaming when people refer it to me, because I'm like, no, I'm not screaming, I'm vocalizing. I am emulating Chuck D, and I'm emulating hardcore artists, and just, you know, James Hetfield, just like Michael Gira, just belting it out there like I'm a preacher. I am orating what I feel, and the whole thing is, for me, is like, I'm not screaming, I am preaching, and I am just I am projecting how I feel vocally, and it's not a scream, I am chanting to the preaching to the choir, and to me, that's the difference. I don't consider it screaming. I'm saying something because I believe in what I write. I believe in what I say because it is me. And, you know, people are gonna know when you're lying. People are gonna know when you're faking it. But if you're saying it for real, people are gonna understand. It's like, and if you don't believe your own words, who else is gonna believe it? So, yeah. It was bridging the gap. Well, for me, I guess, I don't want to assume that I am, but I'm sure that Corey and Christian, who I know, very good guys, you know, they have a long list of inspirations, just like I do. But it would be cool to know that they, in one way or another, were influenced and inspired by me. I think that's all what we really want out of life, right? Is to inspire your brothers, inspire your friends, inspire your neighbor, and to, you know, help them achieve their own creative goals. To me, that's what life's all about. Well, it is true. I wouldn't say it's an invasion of technological machine. I think it's more of like a welcomed intrusion. Humanity seems to be welcoming the invasion with open arms, apathetically. But the Omen, you know, I believe I was doing what other science fiction writers, artists have done in the past, is through the power of observation, seeing the present world around me, and having the ability to transform it into a futuristic text, where you're able to see from where we are now, you're able to see into the future. Because, I've observed, I also read a lot about technology, science, government, sociological change. I'm interested. I like to learn new things. So and science fiction has always been, for me, the most interesting thing ever since I was a child. From movies to TV shows to books to comic books, it's always sci-fi. It always has been. But the reality, we are living in a reality that is unlike no other time. It really is. It is a time of a change that is happening so quickly that there's demographics of the world that are so frightened by the change that's coming, and there's nothing they know there's nothing they can do to stop it, but they're going to do as much to be a pain in the butt to keep it from happening. Much like, Luddites, when technology came into their world in the 1800s. There's people who are just frightened of the world. To go back into a time where everything seemed okay is unrealistic. And for those who can't accept change, it's because of fear of not understanding it and the unknown. So for me, I don't think anything has changed in me. I've written stories that haven't come out or that I haven't published, but I've written a lot concerning what's happening in the world. And a long time ago, I predicted that the United States would fall in 50 years. I was saying that 15 years ago, so 50 years might be 25 at this point. But there's change coming, and you must be educated. You must understand what's happening so you can prepare for it. Not like some kind of guerrilla warfare type of thing, but prepared mentally for the changes that are going to come and affect us all. So for me, in a lot of ways, I think it still makes me angry in a way. I mean, I've always been angry about how we treat each other in the world and how technology is affecting us, not just mechanically and technologically, but also socially. A lot of people don't see that technology is the reason why jobs are becoming scarce, because it's the people that run the companies want a higher profit margin, so they get rid of employees to replace them with machines, so that way they don't have to pay an hourly wage. It's not immigrants taking your job. It's your own boss replacing you with someone who doesn't have to be paid. So that's a whole other social strata that I think about, but there's much more to it than that. So my reality has not changed. What I wrote about in Obsolete doesn't seem, to me, that was happening. But you put it into a futuristic context, and people are like, oh wow, that's a great story. Because a lot of people don't want to face reality. That's why George Orwell, when he wrote 1984, it was actually titled 1948. So, expect more from me. I have, more ideas coming forward, so just pay attention. I have definitely changed since when I started out. And there's two key words in your question that really applies to everyone on Earth: age and experience. Aside from being a musician, artist, whatever, as a 54-year-old man, I've learned some things over the years. Experiences of teaching, experiences life lessons. And for me, I made a lot of mistakes. We all have. I do have regrets. I'd be a fool to say I don't. The knowledge and experience cultivates a change in you that could be positive or negative. And as a musician, that also applies. The experiences I've had, positive, many positive, and unfortunately I've had a lot of negative experiences, but they've all been lessons. And I'm learning my lessons. I'm still learning my lessons. I mean, if you stop trying to educate yourself, the lack of information is only going to harm you in the future. And that's one thing I've learned. So the change that as a musician, is also the change as a man of my age. And I will continue to evolve, but hopefully I plan to evolve into a positive aspect of myself that I can look at and say, I like that person. Someone I've always wanted to be someone I can live in my own skin and not be ashamed, and I want to continue being that, and having the strength from experience helps. Having the knowledge through, of all the years I've cultivated on this world, I have changed. I know what I will not do now, and I will have integrity to follow through on it, and not care what happens to it. Not care, because it is my choice, and I've learned to live with my choices because I trust my instincts. That's one thing I've learned and changed. I've always trusted my instincts, but I trust them more than ever. So, yeah, something has changed in me. Enlightenment of just knowledge that I will continue to grow and change. Well, I have never sung about another band. I've sung about individuals, as probably most singers do, most vocalists I should say. Most vocalists who write their own lyrics. Pretty much most songs are about a person. But I've never written about a band because I decided a long time ago that I have this opportunity to write lyrics about things that I care about and things that I won't be ashamed of 40 years down the line. So I don't waste my time on doing shit like that. Well, I've known Rob Flynn for nearly 30 years. Rob Flynn's always been cool. I've considered him a friend throughout the ages, and toured with him, hung out with him many occasions. I respect what Rob says. Rob told me the same thing a long time ago, honestly, so it's not a surprise that I've heard this. So, the fact that Rob still acknowledges that, I find that honorable. So, for me, it's not really important, but for the people who recognize it and acknowledge it, it is important. And Rob Flynn is a big deal to me, so thank you. The answer is yes. It has happened frequently. There are 2 or 3 songs, maybe 4, that were in a Fear Factory set that, would literally, as I was singing the song, would literally take me back to the moment I wrote it. And feeling, in that moment and realizing why I wrote that particular lyric and why I wrote that song comes back to me all at once, and I see everything that I saw while I was writing. Every vision, every moment, every memory comes back to me. Piss Christ, resurrection, timelessness, scum grief, it's 44, Smash or Devour, takes me, pretty much maybe every song takes me back to a moment. And it has happened on a couple occasions that I've lost because of my, what will I call it, my memory stroke, that I will falter on stage. I will actually mess up. I mess up frequently on stage. We're all human. We're not perfect machines. So yeah, I mess up on stage. And the one thing that really messes me up on stage is as I'm, going through my thing, singing on stage, someone in front usually just does something just odd, looks at me weird, does something odd, and it just completely throws me off, and I will forget the lyrics. And so instead of singing a lyric, I will just do like some onomatopoeia kind of stuff, like blah 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 blah, in the right rhythm, but no lyrics. It's happened many times, but I don't think I'm the only one. This is not a question you asked me, but it's an addendum to a point I made on question number 7. Whereas I'm performing live and I'm human and I make mistakes. I think it is my belief that the current state of the music industry, especially live music industry, where so many bands are playing the tape or following some kind of programming on stage, lip syncing, because the fans are expecting to hear perfection. Fans are expecting to hear exactly what they hear on the record. And I gotta say, that is not live. Live music is not meant to be perfect. Live music is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be different every time. And yes, vocalists will mess up. Vocalists tend to mess up. Everybody messes up. Everyone has a bad day. But as a vocalist, I am not going to sound the same that I did when I was 22. I am twice that age now, and everybody's body changes. Everyone says, oh, he doesn't sound the same. Of course I don't sound the same. I'm fucking 30 years older than I was back then. That's why when I start playing live, I'm going to not rely on tracks. I'm going to play live. You're going to get it raw, you're going to get it unexpurgated, and you're going to get it the way live intended. The best of our ability, live, having fun, enjoying ourselves, striving for perfection as well as we can in a live setting. I like both. I do like a small venue. A small venue provides an intimacy that you don't normally get. It's like, even a very small venue, you get an intimacy like you have when you are within your own band in your rehearsal spot. You are with a very small group, and you are able to do things that you're not able to do on a large scale. You're able to recognize moments, you're able to accept nuances, and you're able to, I don't know how you say it, you're able to adapt with it. And you do the same thing with a live large festival. Large festivals are exciting. Large festivals are emblematic of the rock and roll lifestyle that we've always dreamed of. It's to stand in front of thousands of people and to just do your art and to do your songs and to sing and just belt it out. That's what we all dream about. That is the goal of a musician. One goal of a musician. But as small venues go, I think they're just as rewarding. I think they're very fun. Intimacy goes a long way. And with a small venue, you have more control over your ambience, more so than you do with a large festival. Well, I can't say I am proud of both of them equally, because they both are two different entities, two different time periods, two different time capsules, two different versions of me. And it's like choosing your favorite child. There's aspects about both of them that I'm very proud of. I mean, every aspect about it, the good times, the bad times, the success that we had incredible success. So I look back and I really am fond of all those memories, and I can't really shoot. Well, I am currently working on new music. As you know, or if you don't know, I have just released a single through my Spotify page, and it's a cover of Du Hast done with Mark Thwaite and Paul Ferguson. Big Paul Ferguson of Killing Joke, Mark Thwaite of The Mission, Gary Newman, and Tricky. And he's played with Ascension of Watchers. So that, I sang that in German, and that came out really well. Very proud of it, so there's that. I'm working on new music. I have new management, so I am working towards getting shows. Like I said, I'm writing music. I'm working on new music right now with a couple of different producers that I'm co-producing with them. One's an original song, and there's two more that have been submitted for me that I really loved. So that's gonna be fun. But I have great ideas for them. And I hope to get on tour. Well, I don't hope, I will be on tour probably next year. I want to do it right. I want to have all my ducks in a row, as they say, and I want it to be done right. If I'm gonna bust out, I gotta make it spectacular. And my fans don't expect anything less. I will do my best, as I always have, and when I play live, I'm gonna be live. I was just said this earlier, or read this earlier, live should be a visceral experience, and I absolutely agree. Visceral means that it's sublime in some way that affects you, and not just the listener, but also it has to come from the artist themselves. And if the artist is going to tether themselves to some sort of line, like playing a bunch of tracks, which I don't look down upon, but it's not really, to me, it's not really live. If you want to hear exactly the record, if you want to hear exactly what you want to hear on the record live, then just listen to the record, because live is not supposed to be perfect. It's human imperfections and human qualities that make the live experience so fun and unique. And I'm gonna do songs that I love from my entire career, from Fear Factory, Ascension of Watchers, GZR, City of Fire, and more covers I've done throughout my career. So it's gonna be really cool. So I'm just I want to have new music out at the same time, so it's not just about old stuff. I want to move forward. Jonathan, it's been great answering your questions. Too bad I don't have more information about certain things, but I'm starting off working on my solo endeavor. I will be recording 2 new songs in about 3 weeks in Los Angeles, and I'm looking forward to doing that. One song is an original song, and one song is written by Alex Crescione from Stygian Sound out of Los Angeles, and he wrote a cool track that I love. So I'll be doing vocals on a couple of those and making 2023, the year of BCB, happen ASAP. I'm so jazzed to get back working. I want to kind of get back on the road, touring, playing songs for fans that they all know. I'll be playing Fear Factory songs, Watcher songs, GZR songs, City of Fire songs, maybe a Ministry song. Everything I have been associated with or part of, that's what I'll be working on. So I think fans will be into that. But Jonathan, thank you so much for your time, and I hope this interview works out well for you.